Okay, great. Good. It's okay. I wanted the class reps to respond. So let's start with the annual schedule. The last time I gave you an example and I said that anytime you are told to determine the tax somebody will pay, it is important for you to always look at what you have been asked to do. You may be given a monthly schedule and you will have to, somebody should type in the chat that the one who cannot hear should check their audio. If not, they should leave and join again. If you look at this question, so we'll start with this. This is a schedule. So if you are told that somebody has earned an income, if you are told that somebody has earned an annual income, what it then means is that you are going to use this annual schedule. Okay, you are going to use this annual schedule. You can be given an annual income and be asked to calculate the monthly tax. When that happens, you are supposed to divide the income by 12 before you calculate the tax using the monthly schedule. You don't have to worry about chewing the schedule because in the exams, you will be given a schedule. But in real life, you have to look for the schedule and you have to know which one you are doing. To apply this, so I'm going to bring up my electronic board, and that will mean that I have to stop sharing this. Those of you who don't have the slides, snap the schedule before I move away from it, because we are going to use it for all the computation, the example I'm going to solve. So snap it, please. Snap the schedule so that you can follow me. The one you have in the slides is old. This is the new one that I have put in the slide. So snap it because I'm going to stop sharing. Okay. I am sure by now you have all snapped it. Great. So if you can't see anything from the screen, check your settings. There's something on your phone you have to touch. So I'm bringing the electronic board. So look at the situation where we see Christabel earns 5,000 cedis per month. How much does she pay as tax annually? You see, the word annually here means, please, you are many. Stop saying you can't hear me. If you can't hear me, it means it is from your settings. You need to log off and join again. Elizabeth, type what your problem is in the chat. I'll see it. Christabel earns 5,000 cedis per month. How much does she pay as tax annually? So this one, you are called upon to calculate her annual tax. So first, you must determine her annual income because she's earning 5,000 cedis per month. Meanwhile, you are asked to determine how much tax she pays annually. It will be 5,000 times 12, and that will give us 60,000. Now you are going to use the schedule that I showed you to calculate her tax. So annual tax. Her total earning is what? 60,000. But the first 5,880, she pays nothing. So 5,880. This is nil, and therefore she pays 0 cedis as tax. Now we need to deduct this. You can check with your calculator. Her money is left with 54,120. Sorry. Her next tax, according to the schedule, look at your schedule and you see that on the next 1,320. So this you can call this 54,120 her taxable income. A taxable income is the amount on which tax is calculated. So the first 1,320 should pay tax at 5%. So you are not going to calculate 5% of the 54,120. You are going to calculate 5% of the 1,320. If you do that, you will get, I think, 66 cedis. Just do that. So 0.05 times 1,320. That is 6 cedis, 60 pesos. Then you subtract what she has paid tax on from the total. Her money is now left with 52,800. Then, if you look at the schedule again, she is now going to pay tax on the next 1,560. 1,560. And that one, she pays the tax at 10%. So this is at 10%. So you are going to calculate 10% of 1,560. Yes, thank you. It's 6 cities, 60 pesos. 10% of 1,556 is 156 cities. So it means she has paid tax on the 1,560. You subtract again. Her money is now left with 5,124 and 51,240. 51,240. Now, if you look at your schedule, that will move her to the next category of 38,000. But this money is more than 38,000. So on 38,000, she is going to pay a tax of 17.5%. So you are going to calculate 17.5% of 38,000. And that is 6,650. The 5% of 1,320 is 66. Okay, let me double check. 0.05 times 1320. Yes, it's 66. I said 66 and somebody said it was. Thank you. You people, you are going to force me to also have to hold a calculator. Now we will subtract the 38,000 from the 51,240. And that will give us 13,240. This amount of money, if you look at the schedule you have, will fall in the category of 192,000 at 25%. Because this money is not more than 192,000, we are going to tax it at 25%. So it is important to note that at this point, even if it was 1 cedi that was left, we will still take 25% of it. 25% of 1,300 and 13,240 times 0.25 is 3,310. Now you are finished with all the computation. Now you are going to add all the taxes. So you have 3,310 plus 6,650 plus 156 plus 66. That will give you 10,182 cities. This is how much this person, Christabel, is going to pay as an annual tax. That is why taxation is described as a killer. Because if you earn 60,000 for the whole year and government takes 10,182, that is a lot of money. But all good citizens are supposed to pay tax. And so if you don't pay tax, it means you are not a good citizen. So JC says, why didn't we continue after the next 192,000? You will find that you got 10,082. Segwa, we can all add it and see. Everybody add it, and then the class reps will post their figures. Okay, Cedric also says he got, look at the figures. This is 66 plus 156. So check the figures. Yes, so final answer is 10,182. Yes. Please, those of you who are getting 10,082, check the figures you are adding. I added it with a calculator here. So check your figures. It's 66 plus 156. If you forget and you make it 56, you are going to have your answer being 100 less. Now, the one who asked the question about why we didn't continue after the 192,000, you realize that after we deducted the 38,000, Christabel's money was left with 13,240. It is not even up to the 192,000. So there's no way we can cross that and say that we are going to the next bracket. No, it's not possible. Okay. Great. All right, JC. I'm happy you get it now. Yes, they added 56 instead of 156. Kobe, I agree with you. Please add it well. Okay. So now let me give you this exercise. You have 2 minutes. 2 minutes to calculate that. Find the tax paid by a worker who earns 89,000 cedis per annum. Find the tax paid by a worker who earns 89,000 cedis per annum. Paul, you need to check your who has finished. If you finish, type your answer in the chat. Rama, I don't understand. It's not a question. Alice, the person should not pay tax more than the amount they are earning. What you have posted is 1,068,000. Meanwhile, the person is earning 89,000. So it is either you, please stop typing, I don't understand. It is not a question, and I will not mind you. Ask a specific question if you want to be helped. Etuefua, ask your question. Type it in the chat. Mr. Mount, those of you not using your names. Anyway, this one class is not, attendance is not compulsory. Okay, so Joel got 17,432. Ethel got 12,114. Solomon had 7,716. Millicent had 17,432. Okay. Okay, Godfred had 18,902. All right, many of you are getting 17,000. No problem. You let us all work it out. The class reps, is it that some people are trying to join and they are not able to join? Because you are supposed to be like 1,000. Pile and I think logistics. Because it means half of you are not here. Addition Abdul Karim. What does Patricia? We started this in class, so we are just continuing. So the business of starting points. Don't worry, it's okay. Stop posting your answers. We will all solve it and then we will see, because some people are asking questions, and if you keep posting, I will not be able to get their question. Everyone says, after we multiply 5,000 by 12, what did we do next? We use the schedule to calculate the tax. Okay, Ismail, that's fine. Once the link was shared, and this ask them for the reason. What reason are they getting for not being able to join? So that I can tell the IT team to work on it. I told you to stop posting the answers. There is a schedule. There is a schedule, and that schedule is what we use to calculate. I asked all of you to snap the schedule. This is the annual schedule. If you don't have this schedule, there is no way you can understand. So this was the schedule I shared first, and I said, this is what is used to calculate the income tax. So use it, Snap it. Snap this schedule. I'm going to stop sharing it. Snap the schedule so that we will use it to calculate the next question. Those of you who didn't understand, that may help you understand. Concentrate. Please, you are supposed to move to a place where, that's why we didn't have this class in the night. You are supposed, I did tell you in class that you are supposed to be at a place where your internet will be stable. Because if your internet is unstable, you are going to struggle. Okay. Having shared that, let's come back and solve the question. So this one, the person earned 89,000 per annum. You were given the per annum straight away. Therefore, you don't need to multiply the earning by 12. You don't need to multiply the earning by 12. Well, if you join and you can't hear, it means you didn't join with your audio. Anytime you are joining Zoom, it will ask you if you want to join with audio. Okay. Solution. This is already an annual income, so we are not going to multiply it by 12. We apply the first 5,880, which is nil. So this person will pay 0.00 tax on it. We subtract this and we will get 83,110. The person will pay 5% on the first 1,320. Is it 83,000? Yes, 83,120. Thank you. This is 66 cedis. Then we will subtract again. And we will get 81,800. I use my head to do this calculation, so double check. I like the way some of you double check it all the time. Then we will pay the next 5,000 and 1,560 at 10%. That is 156. Then we will now deduct again. And we will get 0.4208. That is 80,240. Then we are going to pay the next 38,000. The next 38,000 at 17.5%. So 38,000 at 17.5%. We calculated that already, and we got 6,650. Do you remember? So some of this, because you have calculated some already, there's no need to continue to suffer to use calculator. Now we are left with 42,840. Ajua Sari, please check your figures. It's 83,120, not 110. Okay. Now you see that this 42,240 is going to fall in the category of 192,000. And that figure is not up to 192,000. And therefore, you are going to calculate 25% of it. 25% of 42,240 will be equal to 10,560. Good. Thank you. Now it means we have finished calculating the tax. We are now going, this is what currently Ghanaians pay. If you are earning money in Ghana as a worker, this is the schedule that is used. This one is actual. I picked it up from the Ghana Revenue Authority website. So we are going to have 10,560 plus. Now that we have all calculated it, take your calculators and add it, because the answer we will get here will be the correct answer. So we have 10,560 plus 6,650 plus 156 plus 66. That will give us 17,432. So the matter is settled. 17,432 is the correct answer. Okay, great. Good. Those of you who got it, well done. Those who didn't get it, check where you went wrong and correct yourselves. Now, I'm going to stop sharing this and bring up the slides for us to continue. So I'm going to give you a monthly schedule and then tell you to calculate the tax. So this is annual, this is monthly. To get this monthly schedule, you divide each of the levels by 12. So if you take 5880 and you divide it by 12, you are going to get 590. Snap this schedule too, because we are going to use it to calculate the tax that somebody will pay if they were monthly workers. Yes, agent fee. I've seen your answer and that of all the other people. Okay, so having snapped this, I am going to give you a question. So calculate this for me. Ajo earns 160,000 per annum. How much tax does she pay per month? He said he didn't get the lower part of the schedule. Copy the question. I'll bring up the schedule again. Ajo earns 160,000 per annum. How much tax does she pay per month? Okay, so if you have copied the question, let me bring back the schedule. Adu Philip says Ajo pays 19,200 cedis tax. Is that per month or per annum? You were asked to calculate how much tax she pays per month. The 5% is not for annually. The 5%, the 10%, the 17.5% is for whatever amount is there. Even if you are going to pay daily, the 5% will be applied to the daily amount. So that 5% is not annual. It is a rate. It's a fixed rate. Bernard, I hope you are okay. It's a fixed rate. So that 5% is not, it's not like compound interest. No. Good. Who has finished? This question will normally, so far only Edu Philip has finished, and he says Ajo will pay 19,200. Hussein also says she will pay 19,200. Peter, Jennifer, he all says she will pay 19,200. Okay. Mariam, Richmond, Bridget, okay. All of you are saying 19,200. Let's see if that is true. So I will bring back my board. So solution. This 160,000 is annual income. So before you start calculating, you have to divide it by 12 to get the monthly income. So if you divided 160,000 by 12, you will get 13,333.33. So This is the amount on which we are going to calculate tax. Yes. So you see that the 19,200 that you people are getting is already more than her monthly income, and so it's not correct. You have been giving her income per annum, and therefore you have to be able to determine the per month income first before you can calculate the tax. So now we come to taxation, 13,333.33. The first 490, Sandra, 2,931. Yes, that looks more correct. First 490 cedis on the shadow. If you look at the shadow, you see that the first 490 is nil. So nil, and therefore she pays 0.00. If you subtract this, you will get 12,843.33. Okay, Dell, Jennifer, Eshan, Samuel, Richard, you say it should be 3,073. Let's all calculate. No problem at all. The next schedule is what? 110. So the next 110 should pay 5% to be 110.33. Don't forget the persuades. Otherwise, it will make your answer wrong if it is there. So this is at 5%. 5% of 110 is 5.5. Yes, okay, thank you. Oh, you can call yourself that ugly boy. There are some names, they don't bring progress in life. Oh. Avoid them. When money left is 12,733. And then on the shadow, she is going to pay tax on the next 130. So the next 130 at 10%. That is 13 cedis. You subtract that and you will get 12,630. Now, the next on the schedule is 3,167. 3,167, and that is going to be taxed at 17.5%. What do you get? 554.23. Okay. Don't do Ethel, don't do 225. This is to two decimal places. Ibrahim, I'm done. We are all solving the question. Those of you posting your answers, please suspend posting answers because I will be asking people to send me answers. So 554.23. We will find the difference. How much of the money is left? So 13,600 935412.9. So 9,436.33. If you look at the schedule, the next is what? 16,000. But this money is not up to 16,000. And therefore, we will tax it at 25%. What will be 25% of 9,400, 2,359, 2,359 point 0.08. Good. So now that we have finished calculating the tax, we add all the tax paid, and we should get 5.5 plus 13 plus 554.23 plus 2359.08. That is 2,931.81. Good. So those of you who got this figure, well done. Those of you who didn't get this figure, find out where you went wrong and then correct yourselves. Okay. I am going to bring back the slides for us to continue. So this is taxation as done in Ghana. And there's a trial question, some trial questions for you to go and try. Please be careful about whether you are giving monthly or annual, or you need to check that so that you don't make mistakes. Okay. Great. Now, I did say that taxation is not as done only in Ghana. Taxation is done across the world. And sometimes when we are learning taxation, we learn it and learn the standard practice across the world. So our next stop is payroll. Payroll is a schedule. You said you use the annual tax schedule to find the tax per month. I don't see how your answer should have been exactly what we got, but maybe you multiply the monthly figure by 12 first before you calculated the tax. In that case, you will get the same thing if you divide by 12. But it's rare because you'll be subtracting 5,800 and 5,880 from 13,000. It will be left with 7,000. By the time you have gone 2 steps, the money will have finished. So I'm surprised, Mary, but that's strange. But if your answer is correct, but it's always good to use the monthly schedule to calculate the monthly tax. Bernard, yes, you'll be given a schedule in the exams. Hussein says, why don't GRA give a schedule to drivers and market women, but they rather tax them a fixed price for a long period of time every day? That is not GRA. That is the assembly. The assembly has a tax they take for you showing up to do business in their geographical jurisdiction. So if you look at Tech Campus, the Ofericrom Assembly comes around to charge a fee on that one. It's a tax, but it's a fee. So it's flat. This, what we are doing is income tax. So if any of the market women or drivers goes to GRA to tell them, okay, in the last month, I earned 1,005. GRA will use this schedule to calculate how much tax they have to pay. But many of the drivers and market women will not do that because they think that the assembly comes to charge them every day, and therefore they have paid tax, but they have not paid tax. The assembly charges you for using the space or their store to do business. So your store is sitting on the land of the assembly, and the assembly will charge you, say, 10 cedis a day for using that space. That is not income tax. So we're saying many of the drivers and market women don't pay income tax. And that is why Ghana is struggling to raise money. Sometimes you don't blame them because many of the people we give the tax money, they waste it anyway. They waste it buying big, big cars. Okay. So when you have to keep a payroll, then you are looking at a schedule where somebody earns income. All the income put together is called the gross income. Then the person pays taxes out of it. And sometimes the person will also take loans, and therefore the loans are also deducted from it. And the person may also have to pay, in fact, not may, the person has to pay SNIT. And SNIT is also deducted from it. When all deductions are taken, then the gross earning moves to become net earning. The word net simply means after all deductions, as far as earnings are concerned. So generally, gross earning is the number of hours you have worked times your hourly rates. In Ghana, we are paid salary, but elsewhere, people are paid by the hour. So the hours you work times your hourly rate plus your overtime pay if you did any overtime, plus any allowances. These allowances are money paid directly to you. They are not the same as the tax allowance. Tax allowance is treated differently because it is not money given to you. Patrick, you don't need to grab the schedule in your head. In the exams, you'll be given a schedule. And that schedule is what you should stick to. So even if it is different from what GRA uses, the schedule you are given in the question is what you will use. Okay. Now, if you are paid salary, then your gross pay is your salary plus any overtime income plus allowances. Okay. Millicent, when you come to a category of tax, a particular tax bracket, even if the money left is 1 cedi, you will tax it at the rate there. So if the money is 1,000, 3,000, whatever amount, and it is not more than the threshold, so the threshold, for example, is say 16,000, but the money remaining is 3,167. It's not up to 16,000, so you are going to take 25% of that as tax. Okay. Please note that these allowances you see here are monies directly paid to the worker, not tax allowance. This is not tax allowance. For example, as a lecturer, the government is supposed to give me a bungalow to stay in on campus. But because the bungalows are few and it cannot reach everybody, I am staying off campus. So government gives me an allowance, a certain amount of money every month to compensate me for having to travel from my house to campus because you face traffic, people will annoy you, and so on. That is the kind of allowance we are talking about here. You hear people giving fuel allowance, you hear people giving children allowance, and so on. Children allowance will normally come in the form of a tax rebate. So that is a tax. So when I get to the tax, I'll let you know again. So generally, we work for 8 hours a day. In fact, in many parts of the world, the work day is 8 hours from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So if you work 8 hours Monday to Friday, which is 5 days, then it amounts to 40 hours a week. But please note that overtime is when you have exceeded either your work for the day or your work for the week. So let's say I did 10 hours on Monday. It means I have worked 2 hours overtime for that day. If on Tuesday I worked 4 hours, on Wednesday I worked 8 hours and the rest, for that week I still have 2 hours of overtime that I worked on Monday. Don't go and say that because you work 10 hours on Monday, 5 hours on Tuesday, 8 hours Wednesday, 8 hours Thursday, 8 hours Friday. Therefore, the 2 excess hours on Monday are going to be added to Tuesday. No, it doesn't work like that. It is regarded, yes, Ajua, you are going to be paid for overtime, and overtime is paid at time and half. That is 1.5 times your regular rate. So if your regular rate is 10 cedis, then 1.5 times 10 cedis is going to give you 15 cedis. It means anytime you do overtime, you get paid 15 cedis. This is why people love overtime. But this is what businesses also don't like overtime because they have to pay more. They have to pay more. So elsewhere, for example, where I used to work in the US, you will never be allowed to do overtime unless that overtime is absolutely necessary, because you have to be paid overtime and the company doesn't want to pay overtime. So net earning is gross earning minus total deductions. Your gross earning is your regular income plus your overtime plus all other earning. Your total deduction is total tax plus SNIT plus all other deductions. So total tax is always regular tax plus overtime tax. Taxable income is regular income minus allowances. So remember that tax is always calculated on taxable income, and SNIT is calculated on your basic income, which is your regular income. No SNIT is calculated on overtime, except all your work is overtime. We're saying, you see, I told myself that I cannot be a second-class citizen of any nation on earth. That is why I came back home to come and help build Ghana. Do I have any regrets for coming home? No, because when I came home, God has been very kind to me. I have had a stable job. I have a stable family, and I am happy. It's all about joy. Okay. I know other people may think differently, but everybody has a right to. Bernard says Provident Fund and health insurance, are they part of deductions? If they will be part of your deduction, you will have to write to payroll and tell them to deduct it. Otherwise, they cannot be part of deductions. They are not recognized by law. So if somebody wants your a deduction for Provident Fund and health insurance, like KNUST, I belong to UTAG. I also belong to KNUST Health Insurance. I belong to GOS. And so a letter is written on my behalf from the registrar to the payroll to ask them to deduct these monies. For example, I'm not part of Provident Fund, and therefore no deduction is made from my salary for Provident Fund. So for all other deductions that are not recognized by law, you, the worker, will have to instruct the accountants or the payroll people to deduct those monies. Hussein, I agree with you, but some way, somehow, Ghana has to be built. If we were all to relocate, we will leave Ghana to get rotten. So don't worry. If you make it a point that when it is your turn, you will do what is right, I make it a point that if I get the opportunity, I'll do what is right. Trust me, eventually, we will build the kind of environment that they have built, and even better, because trust me, we have only Ghana. And no matter how long you stay in another person's country, they will give you um, they will give you a passport, they will give you all there is, but trust me, you will continue to be a second-class citizen of that nation. Your passport will not even look like the passport of the people who were born there. Okay, I can see that don't cry. Okay, so let's go to payroll. These are the basic things that you have to take care of. And if you don't, everybody will be sorry. So those of you who are in HR, for example, you have to be extremely careful because people don't joke with their money. And it is your time, it is your job to calculate the, please, let's continue the learning. So look at this. This is an example in which we are expected to calculate the regular earning, overtime earning, and gross earning of Musa. Okay, so based on what I have said, please calculate this. And then after that, we will all calculate. You have 2 minutes. Okay, Rama, you are acknowledged. Patrick, it is not a good way to react to a discussion. Don't vent your anger on people who are expressing their concern. So please don't do that. Because it means any day I hear that you are going to be vetted as a minister, I'm going to shoot it down if I can. Because it means that when people are knowing you with questions, you are not going to be patient with them. So Abishai says regular earning is 2,000. Paul says 2,075. Prince Obin says his regular earning is 40 times 50, 2,000. I agree with Prince. He has worked for more than 40 hours, but he is paid 50 cedis per hour. Therefore, his regular earning is 50 times 40, and that will give him 2,000. Okay, so regular earning is 2,000. Let's go to overtime earning. If you are posting your answer, there are three. You need to say what you are posting. How much is Moses' overtime earning? Godfrey, why will you multiply all the 49 by the 50 when you were told that regular working hours is 40? So overtime will be 9. He has worked 9 hours of overtime because you have not been given the breakdown. You were just told that Musa worked for 49 hours. It means 40 hours is regular and 9 hours is overtime. That 9 hours is going to be multiplied by the overtime rate. The overtime rate is going to be 50 times 1.5. Because the question says he is paid time and half. And if he does overtime, he is paid time and half. So that means he will be paid 1.5 times 50, which is 75. 9 times 75 is 675. Good. Now, what is his gross earning? Gross earning is regular income plus overtime plus all allowances. But see, Musa is paid rent allowance of 100 cedis and 50 cedis for out of station, 50 cedis for utilities, and out of station 200. So Musa is a worker on campus. I just used him as an example. So that means we are going to gross income cannot be 1,225 because even his regular income is 2,000. Prince, you have it, but you forgot to add the 200 cedis he is paid for outstation. So LC is correct. If you add the 200, you will get, yeah, so Ethel, Godfred, yes, Aisha, Evelyn, Ibrahim, I'm done. Your figure is wrong. Because if you added the 2,000 plus 675, you get 2,675 plus 200 for outstation. That will give him 2,875. You add the 100 cedis, it becomes 2,975. You add the 50 cedis and you get 3,025. Yes, 3,025. So normally this is straightforward, but we do computation in a table. Yes. So you will see that we have your earnings and then the deduction. The earning, so now we have an example that is different from the one you are used to. This is a different schedule. Remember, taxes are paid on schedules. Okay, taxes are paid on schedules. So we have an extract from the HR records of, so snap this because I am going to solve this using the board. So snap it. Okay, I presume that you have, and so we are going to solve it using the board. And then the last assignment for the semester will roll up and you are supposed to solve it in your books. And Daniel, concentrate on understanding what we are doing and you will not have to worry about exams. If at this time you worry too much about how exams will look like, you can be sorry in the main exams. So at this point, understanding is what is most important. The HR question you will be given is exactly the type we are going to solve now. So pay attention to it, do well to understand, and you are good to go. Oh, this thing will always freeze. It keeps freezing. The PC keeps freezing. Okay, so already I wanted to stop this and then bring the board. It's just that the thing's freezed. I hope you can see the board now. Good. So you were told that Precious worked for 53 hours. Precious worked for 53 hours. So this is Precious. It means she worked regular total hours is 53. So regular is 40 hours and overtime is 13 hours. So Precious is paid She's paid 30 cedis per hour. So this should be times 30, and that will give us 1,002. If she's paid 30 cedis per hour, then 1.5 times 30. Remember, we are told that all overtime rate for all work above 40 hours is 1.5 times regular rate. Can you see it up there? Those of you who had the snapshot. Okay, so this will be times 45, and that will give us what? 13 times 45 is 585. Thank you, Asamoah. 585. Now, look there. Does she earn any allowances? And the answer is no. She doesn't earn any allowances. The allowances you see here, the personal tax allowance, allowance for first child, these are all allowances. These are tax allowances. They are not money paid to her. So it means her gross income, her gross earning is going to be equal to 1,785. Now let's come to regular tax. Remember that her earning, regular earning is 1,002, but she's giving some tax allowances. She's giving 50 cedis for herself, she has 3 children, so she will get 35 cedis for the first child. So this is personal. This is first child. Then 2 children, 25 each, so 50. Second and third children. All these are monies she will not pay tax on. Now, look at the schedule. It says up to 50 cedis is tax-free. Up to 50 cedis is tax-free. So this is 50 cedis tax-free. So now her taxable income is 1,002 minus 185. That will give us 1,015. You can check it. That is 1,015. Is that correct? Good. You even decided to call yourself techno, and you are saying that you are confused from overtime 45. You are told that overtime income, overtime is paid at 1.5 times your regular income. So if she's paid 30 cedis per hour as regular income and she does overtime, wouldn't it be 1.5 of 30? Take your calculator and punch 1.5 times 30 and see what you will get. Please, Andrew, the second and third children is 25 cedis each. 25 cedis each. So the 2 of them will be 50. So taxable income is 1,015. Then according to the schedule, we have first 50 cities at 5%. So 5% of 50, we will get what? Please stop refusing to use your brain. 1.5 of 30, what will you get? Multiply the 1.5 by 30, what will you get? Okay, so this is 2.5. You are holding calculators. You refuse to do what is right. That 45 you are talking about is coming from the 1.5 times 30. Somebody asked that question, and I took my time to explain to the person. So it is either you are not listening or you are not following. If we subtracted this, what will we get? Subtract 50 from 1,050, and we will get 965. Is that correct? Good. So 965. We go to the next schedule. Look at the schedule and see what is next. And you will get 560 at 10%. 10% of 560 is what? 56. Now let's subtract which other earning are you talking about? Jenfi, which other earnings are you talking about? We will get 405. Now, if you go to our schedule, the allowances there are tax allowances. They are not monies given to the person. That was the difference I was trying to establish to tell you that we have allowances that come in the form of direct money, and we have tax allowance. So look at the question. You see that these allowances are tax allowance. Tax allowance. It means it is money you will deduct from your earning before you are taxed. It's not money government is giving to you cash. Okay. Now you see that the next schedule is 660. But the remaining money is not up to 660. In that category, we tax at 17.5%. What is 17.5% of 405? So this is where I tell you that even if this money was left with 1 cedi, government will still tax 17.5% of it. Lisa, you got 70.86, but everybody is getting 70.88. So check your figures. So this is 70.88. We have finished taxing. Jude, type your question in the chat. Good. So now that we have finished, we are going to add the taxes and what will we get? 129.38. Okay, thank you, Graber. Thank you, Ethel. Okay, 129.88. This is regular tax. Good. You have all done well. Now, we are going to show our regular tax is equal to 129.88. Now, let's come to overtime tax. How much was his overtime income? 585. You can see it there. This was the overtime income, 585. Overtime is taxed at what? 10% flat. That will give us 58.5. So overtime tax is, yes, Makarama, you have to calculate the tax using that percentage, even if it is 50 pesos. Even if it is 10 pesos, you calculate 17.5%. It's 129.38. Okay. Okay, 129.38. Okay, thank you. It means you are all paying attention. That's good. Overtime tax is 58.58. Now, if you look at the schedule, were we given Senate? Were we asked to calculate Senate? Yes. Senate is 5.5%. So we are now going to calculate Senate. Remember, we said Senate is calculated on regular income. Her regular income was what? 1,002. You are not going to calculate Senate on taxable income because Senate is not a tax. Senate is a saving that you set aside so that when you are old, you are giving back your money. So Senate is 5.5%. So 1,002 is the regular income times 0.055. What will we get for Senate? 66 cedis. Thank you. Is there any other deduction? And the answer is no. There is no other deduction. So you see that for Precious, you were asked to find her what? Determine her net income. So net income, which is what? Gross earning minus all deductions, total deduction. Our gross earning was what? This is our gross earning, 1,785. 1,785. What is our total deduction? Regular income tax was 129.38. Overtime is 58.5. And Senate is what? 66. This will be 1,785 minus add that side for me. 253.88. 253.88. What will we get as her net income? $1,531. $1,513.11. Good. Thank you all. So use this to practice for there were two workers, Precious and Papa. So use this to calculate the net income for Papa. Is it 31? Okay. Sorry. So this is 31. So 1531.12. Okay, thank you. Good. So use this to calculate for Papa, and then we have finished the course like that. This is the last assignment for you to do. This is the last assignment. As usual, you are supposed to print out or copy the assignment. This is, the audio was not cut off. The assignment is in your Lucas. We corrected the error on the regular income, the 8/8. We corrected it to 3/8. So please correct yours. This is all I can get. If I zoom it, it will go beyond the slide. And you have the slides. So this is exactly how the exam question will look like. Exactly. And pay attention to the fact that this time I am paying overtime as 2 times regular rates. So don't come and tell me that you thought the overtime is 1.5. Always work with the schedule that you have been given. So this is the schedule. This is the schedule. And so Asamoah Asari Kweku, what is your challenge? You've been raising your hand. Unmute yourself and tell me what your challenge is. Isi Hawa, you didn't even join with your audio. So somebody should tell Hawa to join with her audio. Lucas. Unmute yourself. If you can't unmute, type your question in the chat. You are submitting the work on Monday. That is next week, Monday, 8th April. If you have a paper that day, yes, you are going to solve it in your book. It's group work. You are going to solve it in the assignment book. Oh, please be careful. You are solving this in the assignment book. If you go and solve it anywhere, we will not mark it. You cannot even submit it. So next week, if you have a paper, after your paper, you look for Sebastian and give him your book. Don't hand your book over to the class rep to submit it for you. The regular income was 129.38 and not 88. So we corrected it from 88 to 38. Please don't give your book to the class rep to submit for you. Class reps, don't take anybody's book. If you take anybody's book and there's a problem, you will have yourself to blame. Each group is supposed to submit their work. Please, you are all responsible. Don't leave one person to submit your work. All of you work, look for Sebastian. He's usually in my office in the old building. My office number is TF24. TF24. The class reps have his number. They can call him and he will tell you where he is, and you can submit the assignment to him. Don't go and leave your assignment anywhere. Don't leave it with security. Don't leave it in the department office unless he tells you to do so. And I will tell him not to do that. He should take the assignment himself. Now, word of caution. Any group that is not able to submit their book by 5 p.m. on Monday cannot submit their book. Listen to this carefully. If by 5 p.m. on Monday, your work has not been submitted, you cannot submit it. If you are looking for Sebastian and you cannot reach him, get back to me. But don't come quickly and say, we have looked for him and we are not finding him, because I'll tell you to go and look for him again. So just look for him. He and Abdul Latif, they are the two TAs for the course, and there's a third one. I've forgotten his name, but please take the book to my office. Take the book to my office. TF24. You don't have to worry about the employer, because you have been given a schedule where you will calculate SNIT from the employee's income. The employer does not pay SNIT from the employee's income. So the schedule you have been given is income for the employee. And so that part for the employer was just information for you. Paul, every question has an answer in the end of SEM. But in the event that you think that the answer is not in the question, please write your own answer as E and shade it. Is that okay? Write your answer as E and shade it. Okay. It is 1 minute past 6. This class is supposed to end at 6. I wish you all very well. You are going to have